Welcome to another episode of the cut content of Spec Ops Online. And man, there are just tons of developments. I'm shocked with everything that's being found out about modding the game, modding Unreal Engine 3 games, and just UPK edits in general. There's a lot to report, but let's just start with the big stuff. You can now import models between UPK files, which wasn't possible before. You could only do it within the file itself. What this means is that any model within Spec Ops can replace any other model no matter where it's located. So you could replace Walker with Conrad, or you could replace all of Delta with the Gray Fox members, or you could swap around different enemies so that Falcon 1 replaced the insurgents from the first few chapters. What I'm getting at is, for the cut content section, I managed to track down the beta models within the final game, the beta gun models, and replace the final versions with their beta versions. Special thanks to Devil Dwarf for showing me how it's done using different models and also with texture replacements. So this means that multiple guns within this mod I'm showcasing have been replaced with their beta counterparts, and you can tell a difference in some models. Others are not quite as apparent, but some you can very quickly tell they're different. Like the AK has that taped together mag design, the sawed-off shotgun has a different layout, the HK417 is missing that dual-use scope, and so on and so forth. And the biggest one is that the XM8 from that test upload file, that can be restored as well. And if you use the texture from the 2010 multiplayer beta, it looks fine. In this footage, I replaced the M4 with it. Now, it's not a perfect replacement. The magazine doesn't come out, the silencer doesn't appear when you equip it, and the muzzle flash is a little distended from the gun itself. But it plays fine, it shows up fine with enemies and players, and it loads up in multiplayer and co-op. I'll be releasing this mod on ModDB so you guys can check out the beta guns, and for those that didn't have working models, I've applied the beta textures that we have, so you can still enjoy how they used to look. It's a pretty incredible find, and I'm very excited to put these ideas into action. Already some friends of mine are trying to work out whether games within the Unreal Engine 3 format can have their assets imported into Spec Ops. I'm looking into Red Orchestra 2 and Rising Storm right now to see if they're compatible enough. I'm sure that the other guns that Spec Ops within cinematics and stuff, I'm sure they work. I know that the multiplayer beta itself, the models can't carry over, but the textures can be applied because you can always convert that format much easier. So this means that the Scar without the grenade launcher from that cutscene in Chapter 7, you could totally bring that back. Make that replace the 417, and it would be a effective semi-auto rifle. Or, for that matter, any of the multiplayer guns. We can't add them as their own things in single player yet, but you could totally replace the models of the guns that appear in the main campaign. So you could replace the sawed-off shotguns model with the Mossberg 590s model, and so on and so forth, wherever fitting replacement applies. The replacements aren't always going to be perfect. Some animations won't carry over one-to-one, but for the most part, they're looking really good. And it's giving me a lot of hope because I have a personal modding project for Spec Ops that I've been working on. You've probably seen some preview images of it before, and I've teased the idea of it a few times, and this will really make it beneficial because texture modding can only get me so far, and although I'm really happy with the way some mods turned out, it'll be a lot better to just be able to replace the models themselves with some of the stuff from the campaign. I'm eager to explore this fully and to see what other leads might happen. Already there's been some looking into mapping options and whether the custom mapping tools for Dishonored could be used for Spec Ops. I'll be sure to keep you guys posted on that. And if you go into the description, you can check out and download the mod that will replace different gun models with their beta counterparts. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the cut content of Spec Ops The Line. Catch you all later.